Tony, could you remove the green bar from the bottom? I can't see our queens, and they is in the place tonight. But anyway, good evening, everybody. Good evening, family, and welcome back to the Roundtable Talk Show on the Knowledge is Power podcast live. I'm your host, Christopher Unk Jones. And of course, you know, tonight is Tuesday. Yes, indeed. We are here again, and we're not easing into nothing. I just want you to know tonight is one of them sit down, listen close, and stop letting America, of course, you know, I always say play in your face, but explain your own values to you. That's what this episode is about. This episode is called Used, Needed, Denied. And let me say this from the front door. Um, there's no viewer discretion that should be advised, but hey, take that into consideration because this is one show that may strike up some great energy, some good trouble, if we will. um but um yeah, that's where we at. So this is not about asking the United States who it used, because we already know who those people are. This is not about pretending, you know, the labels they gave us and even the labels we give ourselves tells the whole truth. They don't hear me and hear me well when I say they do not. Um, this is not about celebrating visibility while ignoring, theft, especially theft of a people. um, we are way past that. Way past that. Tonight we're naming the pattern. A pattern where the American Negro, indigenous peoples of this land, uh, whether we identify as Indigos, Moroccans, Maroons, Creoles, Black Americans, African Americans, and every one of our people carrying memory deeper than the paperwork, have been renamed, reclassified, worked, sold, studied, targeted, copied, marketed, voted on, voted against, even, and spiritually disrupted. So while all of that has happened and is happening, the system's feeding off of that value still resists full repair, full inheritance, self-determination, lawful control over what our people built, right? And this conversation is not for all of us. It's definitely for all of us, but not for all of us that may seem to be a part of us. Because in our Supreme Court, we see that us is not always for us. So this conversation is one of those who where we identify the ones whose people were already here, the ones whose people came through enslavement, the ones who people who move through ports, plantations, railroad, factories, military uniforms, kitchens, oil fields, crop rows, schoolhouses, church houses, and domestic labor. And yes, the black immigrants too. Huddle up. I need y'all to huddle on up. Um, Black immigrants like the Caribbean, or those that are known to be like other folks would say the Caribbean. I don't know where that's at, but you know what I'm saying? The African black, the African or the Afro Latino. The ones who came here thinking America was just an opportunity machine, right? Only to learn this country had already racially filed you in a particular category and was just waiting on you to show up. Because whether you came through the plantation, the port, the airport, the border, the university, the military, the work visa, or the dream of something better, once this machine read you as black, it already had a category prepared for you and many others that look like us. And if you don't know yet, keep living here. It will definitely show you. Because America is always known how to use blackness. When it needed labor, it took our bodies. When it needed wealth, it took our lands, hands, and innovations. When it needed crops, railroads, ports, factories, and war support, it took our strength, y'all. When it needed rhythm, language, style, athleticism, entertainment, and even cultural relevance, it took our genius. When it needed turnout, it came to our community looking for a vote. When it needed consumers, it showed our faces finally in commercials and shows looking for our dollar. When it needed to look moral, it borrowed our pain and struggled for its messaging. But when our people demanded demanded land, protection, inheritance, credit, institutions, lawful control over what we built, the same America showed another face, and that face looked like terror, confiscation, redlining, segregation, displacement, political suppression. I mean, the list goes on and on. But what we have to understand that this is not an accident in the story. This is a pattern of the history in that story. And so it is upon us to stop acting surprised by what keeps us um, in this cycle and keep repeating the same things. Brookings reported that in 1860, more than $3 billion in value was assigned to physical bodies of enslaved Black Americans. More than that was invested in factories, uh, more than what was invested in factories and railroads combined, and the banking system, if you will. That means before America had all this language about free markets and innovation, it already was using our people as capital. The National Archive says about 6 million Black people moved during the Great Migration, fleeing racial violence and seeking work, and also notes that with World War One, Southern Black workers were recruited into Northern and Midwestern factories because labor was needed. Did you hear what I said? Recruited. I didn't say they moved. I said they were recruited. The Federal Reserve of 2022 survey of consumer finance showed median wealth of about $285,000 for, let's say, working class white families, and about $44,900 for working class Black families. Nielsen reported that Black buying power reached $2.1 trillion dollars. And Nielsen also reports Black Americans are 65% more likely to go to movies on opening weekend. I'm just saying, if they can tell you how much money you spending on a movie night, they could definitely tell you how your vote is supposed to move through here. So tonight is not about whether the United States used our people. Tonight is about how the United States still needs our people while denying the full weight of what it owes our people. And tonight, that's what we're taking a deeper look into. It's because it's deeper than money. It's it's spiritual warfare as well. And people repeatedly renamed can be easier to administratively manage. People cut off from lineage can be easier to redirect. People trained um, to cease access or chase access over ownership can be easier to profit from. So that's not how exploitation survives for generations. Not only through chains, through categories, policy, branding, diversions, and spiritual misinterruptions or interpretations. Tonight, we're not just opening the wound, we're digging out the cancers. This is one continuous, you already know, roundtable discussion where we're going to pull up shots of linguistic dialogue and show how, you know, this country has used what I like to call the emergency Negro card. Not the black card. We know who got them. We already know who got them. But I'm talking about the emergency Negro card, the card that gives them access to the extraction, the dependence, and denial. We're going to work in 3 rounds, Queen Chandra, Attorney Chandra. 3 rounds. I'm gonna pull up 3 rounds of shots. The first chaser of those shots, I don't know what kind of liquor it's gonna be, linguistics liquor is gonna be, but the chaser, I'm at least put something on the rim, just so you know. But the chaser for round one is they build off of us. They build off us. The chaser for round two is love the product, fear the people's power. The chaser for round three is use us, then fear us. Use us, then fear us. And in every round, we're going to ask, what did they take? What did they steal? What did they deny? What did they need? And what do our people have to reclaim before we keep renting the space that we own? That's just where I'm at with it. So let's get to work. I'll definitely bring in the rest of the crew. First up, my big sister, Dr. Catherine Campbell. Miss Campbell. Dr. Campbell,
Hello.
say good evening to the people.
Good evening, people.
Yes, indeed. She is precision. She cuts through the noise, polished language, and covenant confusion. She can read and even hear when a soft phrase is hidden and heard uh, is hiding a hard theft. Sister Night, I need that sharpness because America loves changing words when it doesn't want to admit what it did. Welcome to the table, Queen. Next
Thank
up,
you.
my big brother, Perry Busby. Say good evening to the people, big bro.
Good evening, people. Glad to be in Texas tonight. Glad to be with the Roundtable Talk Show crew.
Man, look, that man from one end of the United States to the next. I promise you, maybe last week he was just arriving in Cali, and this week he is in Texas. So, you can't keep a good man down. Okay, nah. That is the writer analysis, data analysis, pattern reader, receipt puller. Perry follows the paper, the money, the policy, the map, the timeline, and the outcome. And tonight we need receipts because the people without receipts get talked out of their own inheritance, big bro. Thank you. Welcome in. And my little brother Dustin Harris, say good evening to the people, little brother.
What up, people?
Yes, indeed. The voice of a veteran, straight shooter from the hip. You know what I'm talking about? Ground level truth. Dustin brings the real life lens of how does this hit the worker, the household, the block, the child, the young man, the young woman, the business, the owner, again, the veteran, the voter, and the person trying to survive inside of a system that keeps pretending none of this is connected. There's no relation with that. Dustin, welcome in, big bro, little bro. And tonight, man, I said it backstage. You understand me? I have a very, very big voice. She is a mother and a good friend to the 2 minute warning of the Gazette of the oh man, all that just left. But she is one of the co-hosts of the 2 minute warning with Brother Bobby. If y'all have not followed their dialogue and discussions, I definitely want you to. Queen, say good evening to the people.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me here. Hopefully, I don't get into too much trouble today.
Now you might as well go ahead and kick them shoes off because trouble is what we're here for.
Put some
Yeah.
put some Vaseline on your face and pin your hair back. We going in.
Pull them earrings off. Yes, indeed. Tie your hair back. I'm telling you. Attorney Chandra brings a legal lens into a conversation that absolutely needs one on tonight. Because we're talking about law, identity, voting rights, political dilution, lawful control, if that's even a word, self-determination, and what happens when rule of law become a clean phase of excluding black power from protection. Attorney Chandra, thank you. And I'm excited to have you at the table.
Thanks for having me. Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
indeed, Queen. Yes,
Mhm.
indeed. And to the family watching on Facebook, YouTube, Roku, and wherever else you're watching us and or may catch us after we're complete at this table, I just definitely want you to know that I appreciate you being here. But listen, this conversation is not background noise. This is one of those episodes you have to sit with because it's like that. Now, round one of these shots. Y'all ready for y'all shots? Say yeah. Just say
Yeah.
We ready.
it. Round one. Let's start at the foundation if we can, y'all. The they built off us is the chaser for these shots. Um, because before there were ad campaigns, DEI statements, endorsement slogans, diversity panels, election commercials, and corporate apology posts. There was forced labor. There were bodies. There were hands, black backs, wombs, fields, ports, kitchens, and rail lines. Of course, crops and inventions that were turned into capital, especially from our people. And if we're going to tell the truth, the first major United States bailout extracted from our people was physical, agricultural, industrial, and unpaid. So when we believe or people tell us slavery was long ago, what they really want us to look over is that theft to get old enough to stop being accountable. Uh, but wealth travels, land travels, ownership travels, names travels, qualities travel, advantages travel, inheritance travels, and so if wealth can travel, theft can too, and that's why this number sits. This episode actually matters to I hope you all as well. Um, Dr. Campbell, you ready for your shot?
Ready.
When you look at the United States history, honestly, where do you see the clearest line between what our people built and what our people were denied?
Well, that's a powerful and painful question.
Hmm.
The clearest line to me runs straight through the Reconstruction and its aftermath. Right after the Civil War, Black Americans, mostly newly freed, built something remarkable. They built Black led schools, thriving churches, banks, and entire political systems. They won
Mm-hmm.
elections, they wrote state constitutions, and created the first public school system in the South. They built towns like Eatonville, Florida, and rebuilt cities like Atlanta from rubble. Then came the denial.
Mm-hmm.
It was violent, systematic, and government sanctioned denial. The Black Codes, the Ku Klux Klan terror, the 1876 compromise that ended federal protection, and finally Jim Crow. Land they worked for generations were stripped away. Political power they'd earned was erased. Schools they built were segregated and underfunded for a century. So the line isn't between building nothing and getting everything. It's between building a democracy from scratch and having that democracy violently taken away, only to have its descendants keep fighting for it today. So, for a specific, more concise example of that duality in one place, I'd like to point to the Tulsa Black Wall Street of 1921.
Hmm.
It built stunning wealth and institutions. Then we saw it destroyed and literally buried.
The whole happening was buried.
Whole happening.
That right there is the line they keep trying to blur, though, Queen. Because America would say our people contributed, but contribution is too soft of a word when the labor was stolen. America will
Exactly.
say our people held, helped build the country. You guys helped build the country. You helped build the country, but the contribution, but helped is too soft or too polite when our people were forced to build wealth they were legally blocked from or never intended to inherit. I mean, they'll even talk about you know a resilience, but resilience become a trap when it lets the theft of or the thief even avoid accounting for the robbery. This is why your points matter. This is why this conversation on this evening matter, is because the clearest line is not just between work and wages, it's between creation and control. And our people created value, but control was held in contempt or elsewhere. It was in detention camps or something. Our people produced wealth, but inheritance moved elsewhere. Our communities or our neighbors and elders and legacies built institutions, road, industries, households, and culture, but authority was locked away. That's crazy. And especially if we don't we don't name we don't name it like that. I want you to know we'll keep begging for recognition when the real demand is restoration. We need restoration. Man, Attorney Chandra, you ready for your shot, Queen?
I think so. I think so. I think so.
All right, I'm gonna pull you up, and
I think so.
I'm gonna let you take this shot however
I
you
think
like. You
so.
can sip it, or you can throw it all the way back. Good evening,
Okay.
Terry, and appreciate it, bro. Thanks for your advocacy as well in our community around that community garden. Attorney Chandra, what are areas right now where you believe the United States still depends heavily on our people, but refuses to fully honor that dependence?
So I looked at this question from the time it was sent to me, right? And I still
Hmm.
struggled on how to answer, still struggled on how to answer it because I can't think of like one area, right? It's just all of it. It's just everything,
Mm,
everything, everything, right? And the biggest thing that I see right now is that they're basically going to rely on us to save them from themselves right now because no, the country's on fire. It's an absolute S show, right? And they're gonna not fix it and they're gonna leave it up to us, right? And we are gonna fix it because we're like, listen, y'all might want to continue to live in all the crazy, but we can't. We don't want to live in no more crazy. And there is a
yeah,
solution to the problem. And so we're gonna
right.
just go ahead and do it. Black women, we had decided in 2024 that we're like, all right, we're gonna leave y'all alone because y'all, we did what we were supposed to do. All
God bless
right.
the truth.
We showed up and we did what we were supposed to do, and y'all clowns out there was out there clowning. So we're
Right.
gonna let y'all sip on this bit of medicine, you know what I mean? But right now it's like, okay, okay, okay. They still don't get it. They're gonna just keep going down in flames. So we're gonna come and rescue them, right? And so to me, that's the biggest thing. It's like it's everything that we do, right? Like we do everything to make their lives better, and they're mad at it, right? And part of it is because despite all of the things that these folks have done to people of color in the United States,
Hmm.
right? They're like, well, why
Hmm.
are they still smiling? How is it that they're still standing up? How is it they still show up? How is it that in 43 years after the Voting Rights Act, they got a black man elected? How is it that 59 years after the Voting Rights Act, this black woman came this close to becoming president? And I'm not gonna get into no conspiracy, CO conspiracies on why she didn't become president, but like she should have been the
I
president,
told
right?
you you came
And
here to get in
everybody was
trouble. You
mad, right?
came here to
Everybody
get
was
in
mad.
trouble.
Everybody was mad, I'm a fan of white women up until a point, right? So they were probably even more mad than anybody else because they're like, well, we got a right to vote something years ago, and we didn't get this close to the. I mean, I guess Hillary kind of did, but kind of not really, right? You know, like because she was there, right? She was absolutely there, and they're like they couldn't even support that. So when you ask me like what it is that they don't give us credit for, they don't give us credit for nothing. But and we gonna save them for this midterm, and they ain't gonna even give us credit for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at, because we're like, all right, they not gonna get it. They can't measure up, so they just gonna drag us all down. But we're gonna be like, no, we don't want to stay here. So we're gonna go ahead and try to elevate y'all back up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? To find some level of comfort for everyone. So I don't know if I answered that question, because I really can't figure out like what's the one thing, because it's all the things, right? It's all the things. Right. Everything we absolutely do is for the betterment of folks, right? And we're continuously saving them from themselves, because you know that hate in their heart is just so much. They don't like themselves. You know what I mean? We love us no matter if we ain't got no teeth, we don't got no place to stay, we don't got nothing. We still love being black. You know what I mean? And they don't understand it. So, you know, we're gonna have to rescue them people this year. And that's what we're gonna do.
Yes,
I think I answered the question.
Yes, indeed. You did. You hit that right on the head, especially when it came to us having to put the cape on.
You know, we're gonna have to
I definitely agree.
If we don't, we're gonna be paying $15 a gallon of gas. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna be able to eat nothing. And the thing that's what they don't understand is that we can live and struggle. Like, you know, I'm like, bro, you know, if we got it, we got it. If we don't, we don't. We're gonna be all right.
Absolutely.
And so no matter what they do, we're gonna figure it out, right? Because if everybody gotta live in the house and stack up some mattress and put them on the floor to go to sleep so we can go to work, we gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that's not gonna do that, right? So we gonna do that. So no matter how rough y'all make it, we're going to be okay, right? We shouldn't have to be okay, but we're actually going to be okay. So we're going to go ahead and save them, you know, in November, and then we won't get credit for that either. But that's what we're going to do.
Man, that is where I just definitely agree, because that's where people get food, right? Especially by inclusion. They see black people in ads and call it progress. Black people voting and call it democracy. They see black people culture or black culture everywhere and call it appreciation, right? And even some black professionalisms, especially if you're not in this particular time, if you're not a black lady, then they gonna clap you up. But the moment you show that you are a black woman in power, they're coming for you. I just definitely want you to know. But you know, I definitely want us to ask ourselves just some of the things that Attorney Chandra mentioned. Where is the control? Uh, where is the transfer, the inheritance, the protection, and the lawful authority? Because the United States still depends on our people in labor markets, consumer markets, culture, politics, faith spaces, military services, entertainment, sports, and even moral messaging. So just like she said, in all of those spaces, that's why her question was so hard, because the need is going to be greater than it is currently. We're watching y'all. I mean, just last show, we told y'all how, sort of kind of gave y'all the warning. Attorney Chandra, I gave our viewers and listeners the warning about us restricting our currency. And so, especially how they're playing in our face with these meme coins and Bitcoin and all this and all that, telling you how you could do this and that. But just like you said, I mean, this country depended on the black dollar to bail it out more than it did the white currency that it was holding in reserves, right? I mean, so.
Yeah, be careful of those investments, because they're going to put you in jail. So all of a sudden that behavior is going to become criminal. The minute you figure out that trick code, and we know it, right? And we can make everybody, but you go there and play with them people, you gonna end up in jail. And I'm not saying like don't try to get your wealth and don't do all that stuff, but be very careful on how you decide to play that game, because all of a sudden what was lawful before is gonna become unlawful. So just that's all I'm gonna say to that one.
Yes, indeed. Perry, you ready for your shot?
I guess so. After that shot, we're gonna have to chug them down now.
Hey man, we look. I just want y'all to know y'all gonna have to wash a lot down tonight.
Yeah, I got
Perry,
more
what are
water
the
with me.
strongest receipts? Lies. What are the strongest receipts that this country grew rich off our people's labor while blocking our people's from lasting inheritance?
I will say the best way to address this is
You going in and out, bro. They hating. My assumption is they know you came with that heat. Oh yeah, they hating hard. Turn your Wi-Fi off.
yeah. Let me get off of camera.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
I would say the best way is to start at the beginning, and the beginning for us, of course, is uh is with enslavement.
That's right.
Mm.
And when we talk,
They hating, brother. Yeah, they ain't gonna let you answer that.
Yeah, he always
They
got,
ain't gonna let you.
he
And
got the
then you in
info.
Houston?
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely not gonna let you answer that. You in Houston. You will not say that here in the state of Texas.
well, I would say this about the state of Texas, and I would say this about the South. Uh, when we put enslavement in the proper context of America's rise to a superpower, that comes with the emergence of the textile industry. And so
Mm-hmm.
when we say cotton is king, that is more than just a cliche. Um,
Mm.
and studying and looking up,
Man, I promise they hating hard. They hating hard. As soon as you get to the sweet spot, they be like, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Man. I wish you was somewhere else because I know that that tea is good. So let me see what we're gonna do. Anybody want to help Perry with that shot? Because the state of Texas is definitely hating. That man was on Interstate 10, had better reception than that. What y'all talk about? In travel and in motion. Make that make sense, man. I mean,
I think he wanted to
who gonna
bring
help
out the
Perry with his
point.
shot?
I think he wanted
you
to
hear me
bring out the
now?
hello.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me
off and
now?
on. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna finish this point. Damn the state of Texas, damn Greg Abbott, anybody else. I don't want to put the show in jeopardy, but well, we're gonna tell the truth tonight. Because the truth we know shall set us free. But I was saying that if we were to put
Every
Brother,
time
they
you get
bad.
to it.
Yeah, they bad. Like I'm gonna tell you, like we say in Louisiana, they bad to piss out you, brother. They is batting you. They is batting you, brother. They is batting you, man. Who gonna get some of that shot?
I will. I think he wanted to bring out the fact that the value of enslaved people was greater than all the nation's railroads, banks, manufacturing combined. they were the U.S. economy, used as collateral for
Correct.
loans, buildings,
Correct.
building Wall Street and the Industrial Revolution. After the war, the government promised land to start generational wealth, but zero cash was given to the 4 million
Right.
free people.
Right.
So $1 trillion stolen on paper between 1920 and 1997. Black owners lost over 90% of their agricultural wealth, like the decimation of Wall Street and tussle. In
Mm-hmm.
1921, the U.S. Department of Agriculture was found guilty of systematic discrimination, causing an estimated 26 billion. Uh,
With a B.
yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah. Land that they helped build was stripped down from their heirs. So,
Mm.
and I think that was a part of the Great Wealth Transfer, which
Yeah.
today was a staggering 285,000 compared to 44,900 for the typical Black family.
Yeah. Can
Man. Hey,
Listening.
Perry, I'm telling you what it is, brother. I'm telling you what it is. Greg Abbott say, didn't I say shut his pie hole? I'm telling you, bro, they aren't letting you say nothing, man. They ain't letting you say a mumbling word. You hear me? They put that, bro. They they put they put Kool-Aid on your lips and on your eyes, so you won't say nothing. Dusty, you ready for your shot?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, oh man. Uh, Dustin, at what point do we stop calling this unequal opportunity and call it a long running extraction system?
Well, for us, without I'm be nice. I had another word written down here, but I'm be nice. For us who don't have the tap dancing colored glasses on, we've been seeing what it is, and we calling it is what it is. But for everybody else, they want to give it these little cute names and whatever. Look, the baby is ugly. Just call it what it is. This country was built off those who won't get credit for making it better for everybody, but is every day being ruined by the greed of a select few.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And that's the grown language right there. Unequal opportunity sound accidental, and they make it sound accidental. Extraction tells the truth that somebody was taking. You know what I'm saying? And that word extraction by itself changed the whole room. Um, yeah, yeah, man, man,
Dr.
golly,
Campbell.
what you gonna say, Perry? What you gonna say,
Dr.
Perry, so that
Campbell,
they can
thank
shut you
you.
up again?
Dr. Campbell, thank you for giving voice to the words and the research. One thing I do want to add to that is that we can't there were two others that I know you would have listed, but you gave the primary ones. But the other two
Hmm.
was the convict leasing system,
Mm.
which came
Yeah.
after Reconstruction. And so that was the vagrancy laws that led to the expansion of our railways
Right.
and through free labor.
Yeah.
The other one was exclusion from the New Deal.
Mm.
We were excluded from Social Security in the beginning.
Correct.
So everything we fighting for now comes with much interest that we have put into this payment system.
Hmm.
And the other one would be the freeway system, which cut through all many of our communities, cutting off viable resources and allowing transportation to bypass our communities and bypass the economic system that came with the freeway system. Those are two. or at least three other systems that we can add to this that added to uh, this system. And what I would say is that
Yep, that's all they gonna let you say too. They was like, all right, all right, all right. You spoke enough. You spoke enough. They wasn't gonna let you get that slavery thing out of there though. I promise that was not coming out of your mouth. That data was not coming out of your mouth.
not tonight.
Who gonna put me up? Somebody, somebody put me up, please.
If our people were essential to
They hating
building
on
this
my brother, man.
nation at every major stage, why has our authority over what we built been treated like a threat?
Man, um, because America is comfortable with black usefulness. I told y'all this country has an emergency black card, an emergency Negro card, and it's not comfortable when black shows its authority. This country is not comfortable when indigenous Negro, migrant, immigrant, anybody with a hue shows its authority. Uh, it can handle us working. It can do that. It can handle us singing and praising. It can handle us ripping and running up the field or up the court in entertainment. It could even, you know, take some comedy from us being as harsh as Paul, individual like Paul Mooney was, or Bill Cosby, or or some of the common comedics acts that we have today in place of entertainment. It can't handle us voting um enlarged, but it could deal with us voting, sporadically or periodically. It could handle us, spending out emotionally. It could deal with that. It could even handle us being the first black this, the first black that. They don't care about that as long as the ownership structure behind this first crap still look the same. You could be the first,
Mm-hmm.
but you're gonna always be last. You and your people gonna always be last.
You
But
can.
authority changes the relationship. Authority means land, it means institutions, it means voting blocks with the man, it means economic discipline, if you will. It means legal strategy, families protecting property and legacy, right? It means churches teaching liberation and not just patience or prized possessions. Dustin said it. y'all better go back to this hell and brimstone because because authority, even for teachers, um, and lineage of law, economics, agriculture, architecture, technology, and civic power. Authority means we stop chasing seats and start controlling tables, y'all. That's what it means for me why our authority has been treated like it's been treated. Because the useful people can be managed. I said that before. And some of y'all are okay with being managed. I'm not. And I'm sure many of you that are watching, plus my crew at the table, we're not. Um, Once our people stop asking to be included and start demanding lawful control over what our people built or what we're continuing to build, then America has no answer to a different kind of question. Not can we join, but what do we owe? What do you owe us? What do you owe? Run me my money. Didn't we say last week, Jack move? break yourself. I mean, and that's the question that terrifies systems that's in this country built upon unpaid bills. Run me my money.
I want to add a little bit of some of what you said. And you said like let's
Go ahead,
control the
Queen.
table, right? And that's true. And we do control the table. The problem is that they won't leave us alone, right? So you gonna go control the table, do all your thing, and they gonna find some way to just come and just bother you and disrupt you some sort of way, right? Because we good. Like this, if y'all just leave us alone, we're not gonna bother y'all. We don't go over there. We don't try to get in none of your stuff. You know, like remember that, like I think it was like a year or two ago where the white people said they gonna go have this whole white town and they will all go live over there. And we're like, fine, like no one wants to go there, right? Like we absolutely don't want to go there and we don't want
Yeah.
to leave us alone. We're gonna build our table, control our tables, and they're going to come and disrupt. I'm not saying that to say not to continue to build your table and do your own thing, but just understand that they're gonna come and disrupt. If they don't come themselves, they're gonna go send the skin folk that ain't kinfolk to come disrupt the table. And so we just have to continue to understand that yes, we're gonna do all of these things, but it's not gonna be without challenge, right? And it's the challenge that we have to just be like, okay, yeah, here they go. And we just gotta continue to push through it. So I do totally I understand your point and I get your point, but I just also want to add the caveat that they not gonna leave us alone because they don't. Because if they did, we won't be going through half the stuff we go through. Because if they're like we want to
Right.
separate, we're like good dog, we good over here. Leave us alone. But they not gonna leave us alone. They just don't. They not gonna leave us alone. And that's the thing that we have to figure out how to consistently pivot and adjust to because they not gonna leave us alone, you know.
Yeah, and I seen that even in recent social media posts where, we may just be sitting and enjoying ourselves at a fish pond or a mall or somewhere else in public, and maybe even recording ourselves, right, in our engagement amongst our community or our people, and next thing you know, you have people like, I don't know, this recent dude name that's going trying to grab clout out the air by going into general public spaces and calling people the N word. Young lady, she's standing in front of the black reporter as she's trying to convey information. Yeah, I'm seeing the very thing that you say, man, especially about leave us alone. Michael Jackson told y'all, leave us alone. Go ahead, Dustin.
But did you see that my favorite people, the internet detectives, have dug up that young man past where he used to like dressing like a girl.
A
Who?
fairy. He dressed like a fairy.
Who?
The
The guy
little
that was,
walk around a little cowboy hat wanting to antagonize everybody. Well, back in the day, he liked to dress like a girl, like I said. Cause I've been watching Disney my whole life. I've never seen a male fairy.
They have the very odd godparents. That it's a man fairy. There's a man fairy on Peter Pan too.
Who?
They wear different
Well,
types. They
well,
wear
those are fairy I knew.
different outfits from the
You see,
fairies.
you see how she trying to help him out already. She just
Nah,
trying to
don't
help
help
him
him.
out.
Just saying.
That boy dressed like a fairy.
man, man. But yeah, that's exactly what goes on. They can't stand to see us be laughing at them while they're going through chaos. Chat question number one. Chat, this is definitely for
And
you,
we
for the
gonna make it.
listeners, viewers, and those of us at the table. Feel free to respond as well. Chat question number one. I need y'all to make it plain for me if you can. What was or what has the United States profited from the most? Put a one in the chat if it's our labor. Put a two in the chat if it's our culture. Put a three in the chat. If it's our spending, put a 4 in the chat if it's our political loyalty, and put a 5 in the chat if it's all of it. I definitely want you to drop your number right fast. Go ahead and put that out there. Anybody at the table wanna respond to that? What's your number? Miss Cat, what's your number?
All of it. 5. Our culture gets copied and sold back to us. Our spending gets tracked and targeted and extracted. Our loyalty is used for votes and then ignored. But
Yeah,
labor, that's the original source code. Take the labor away, and there's no country left to profit off the rest. So, yeah, all
correct.
of it.
What you feel, Attorney Chandra?
Yeah, definitely all of it and in different times of history, right? Like once they can't do one no more, they go and find the next thing. You know what I mean? And when everybody
Right.
peep the game, you know, they be like, "Ooh, too many people recognize what we doing. Let's go ahead and shift and do something else." So it's all of it.
Yeah.
It's just all of it. And the political one is the one that's the most that's so disheartening to me, right? Because like
Mhm.
we get into a place where we really can like make a difference, right? And then okay, I'm not gonna talk about. I'm not gonna call no black folks names, right? But like we get to a point where we could actually do something, and then they send They send this one person to come and talk us all down, right? And that's the part of
Mm.
it that we have so much more political power than we realize, and we just don't capitalize on it because then they go send this one person who the community is real supportive of, and they come and convince us like, oh no, you just need to do baby steps, don't do the whole big super stuff right now. And then it just takes us back so far because we gave up like all the space that we had. And I'm gonna just give an example, and if y'all figure out who I'm talking about, then y'all figure out who I'm talking about, even though I'm still a Florida person, right? But I remember like when the NBA, remember when they the police shot that Brooks guy, I think in Wisconsin. They shot the guy, and then the what's the Wisconsin basketball team, Milwaukee or something? They're like, we're not playing the game tonight. They're like, we ain't doing this, right? Because they were like rioting and doing all this stuff, and they were like, we're not playing this basketball game, and they really weren't going to play the game. And they send one of our, one of the fans of the people to come go have a conversation with them, and all of a sudden they're playing the game, right? And that was such an opportunity for black folks to just really show like all of their power. And then they go and they send someone that the community respects to come and waters it down. And the minute we fold like that, then you can't get that momentum again. You got to do it when you have it, right? And when the minute you just back up from it, you can't, because you can't
Lost.
recreate that. You cannot recreate that moment that you had. And
It's
Yeah.
so that's why the political one is what really gets to me, because we're always right where we can do it, and then they send, and
Snatch
it's
it.
not always the same person, but they send somebody in that come and just shift the community, and then we lose that momentum because again you can't recreate it. It has to happen in that moment, and that's the part that's really that's just like super sad to me, is that we
Man.
don't do better with our political power. But yeah,
Hmm.
the answer is all of it.
Roundtable question. What did the United States build off our people that it still has not truly paid for? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
The floor is standing on the banking system, the capital, the railroads, the cotton fortune that launched the Wall Street, the ports, the
Mm.
highways, the military bases, the hospitals, the schools, all built brick by brick, field by field, body by body. You can price stolen labor, but you can't price the compound interest on a nation built from it. And that bill is still unpaid.
Still unpaid. Yes, indeed. Attorney Sandra, you have the floor. You muted, Queen. You muted, Queen.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I totally agree with, I apologize for that. I totally agree with Dr.
You're
Campbell
fine.
said. Is like it's all of it, right? Like they owe us. And even I mean, just not only the enslavement,
Labor.
just like if we just think about the museums that they have, because we're talking about America right now, right? But we could just lump in all the European countries that are able to make wealth. My parents are Haitian, and Haiti had been paying France back for over 100 years because they were mad that the people were able to get their independence. They're like, well, we lost all of our labor and all of our money because now all our slaves are free and they can't work for us no more, so we can't make no money on us. So you got to pay us back, right? So that's why and then they act like the country can't manage itself, but not taking responsibility for why it is that the country can't manage itself because it was paying debt to France for like 100 years, and then the United States goes over there and steal the rest of the money and create Chase Bank and all of these places, right? And that's the part of it that they don't tell, right? They just be like, oh, look at those the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, but they don't tell the story of their involvement in those countries not being able to do more, and then don't give them credit for being able to do what they're doing with the little that they have, right? Like they're giving you all this money back and these folks are still surviving, right? Because they're still here. And if y'all would just leave them alone, they would be fine. But no, they're always finding some way to intervene, right? If it's not overthrowing the government or putting in some president or sending guns that Haitians don't manufacture or will never buy in their life because they don't spend money like that, right? So it's always this interference, and then they're only talking about what's the consequence of their interference, but never disclosing what the interference is. So Black folks are taking losses throughout the world by not only Americans, but just European folks all over, right? Return all the stuff y'all took. They will have no museums, right? They will have nothing. And even like right now, with how like Burkina Faso and those countries are like, nah, give us, we got our minerals, we got this. We don't need y'all to help us do nothing. We're gonna do it ourselves, right? And now France, they're like, no, but let us, and they're like, nah, we got this, because as much as they act like, oh, these African countries are poor and, we got to, no, they're poor because you keep stealing and taking their stuff, right? And now that they're getting it all back, now the European countries are being exposed for being poor because they have nothing. You're really, they're on land that produces absolutely nothing. Everything is imported, is taken from somewhere else, and they're really just like being exposed right now. So, all of what Dr. Campbell said, all of what she said.
Absolutely. Perry, you have the floor if they let you talk this time.
I'm on the freeway, so I'm away from my shot.
Oh, okay. You sound better now than you did in the restaurant.
Really? Okay. I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know. But no. As Dr. Campbell has said, and Attorney Sandra said, no. I mean, from the moment Exhibit was pimping his ride, little did we know they were pimping our culture.
Right.
And so, it's always that same game. I mean, whether we want to put ruby red lipstick on this pig or fuchsia, it's still a pig, and we're still getting the chitlins and not the pork chops out of it. And we damn sure don't own the pig farm.
But they selling chitlins in 5-star restaurants right now, though, right? So that's a part of it too. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna just give them the scraps, right? We're gonna give them the scrap, and then what do? Turn it into a delicacy. They're serving it in 5-star restaurants, and what they thought was like nothing for us, we created into something great, and that's why they hate us and won't leave us alone, right? Because when they thought
Chitlins
they were doing
is
something
a
bad to you, we
Michelin
turn it into
star.
something incredible,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't eat
Chitlins on the
pork,
Michelin
so,
star restaurant.
I mean, but yeah, but they were, we're gonna give them the scrap and all the bad parts of it, and then we ended up making it something that they put in 5-star restaurants right now. So
they take our culture, they monetize it, and then they sell it back to us.
Right. Dustin, you have the floor.
See, that's why I don't need at 5-star restaurants. I'll be damn, you put damn chitlins on my plate. But anywho, answering the question is their entire financial system. And their wealth.
Absolutely. And that's it. I mean, like the US, I will agree to everything said. I mean, because again, this is a war on many fronts. that our people have to be prepared for or ready for in these particular times. And so they've not paid for the interruption of our people's inheritance, not just labor, inheritance. Because if you steal labor, you steal wages. If you steal land, you can steal stability, right? If you steal family structure and or inheritance or practices, um, you can steal continuity. I mean, like they done stole education and removed it, so they're stealing preparation. Um, they stole even more so political power this past week. Uh, so they're stealing protection. I mean, I mean, this is why the debt um, is crazy. They steal identity. So you know there is no direction for people or our people in particular, especially in identity. You know, for me, money is like money is part of it, right? Um, and I hear a lot of people say, "What about reparations, Chris? Reparations?" I mean, that's part of it. The For me, the bill includes land, credit institutions, protection, um, um, corrected history, right? And truthful history, one that's true, political representation that cannot be sliced apart every time our communities or our numbers start meaning something, right? Just like Attorney Chandra said, we're gonna have to save y'all any eventually, even when it comes to entrepreneurial support that does not choke out our businesses after the photo ops or whatever. And then, of course, right, for our people it's definitely the right time for our people to stop being treated as labor, as just voters or as just consumers, and allow them to mark us as cultural markers. Hey, this is the season for this. This is about the time that the Negroes get their money. I mean, or even moral symbols without being recognized as rightful power holders. So I mean, like, what did America build off of us that's still not paid for? It's comfort, it's wealth, it's global image, it's moral language, it's rhythm that they still don't have. I mean, it's war strength, it's labor base, it's political theater, it's cultural currency. That's what they don't understand that we have that they can't mimic, not even in the dollar. And I'm not interested in making the people who owe us comfortable anymore. That crap is over. And it doesn't matter which hue you wear. I'm done with it. So yeah, that's it for me.
So let me say, because land keeps coming up. Let me say one thing about land. So land keeps coming up, but when people think of the Fifth Amendment, they always think about like the right to remain silent and all of that, right? But there's a provision in the Fifth Amendment that talks about eminent domain, right? And that's the thing. So people always talk about the reparations, give me my land, blah blah blah. But they wrote it into the Constitution that when they want it, they can come get it. Right, they could come get it and come take it from you. So I understand all that, but understand how diabolical this all is, right? The land thing, and they know that's important, and that's how you build wealth, and that's how you pass things on to your generation. But it's written into the Constitution that, but if the government needs it for some sort of public purpose, and they get to decide what that is, right? Because that's how they went through those black communities. Like, but we need a highway. I'm sorry, Overtown in Miami, Florida, we're going to have to get rid of this whole historic district because we need to build I-95, right? And they're allowed to do it. So understand that they got it where it's written into the Constitution of the United States of America that when they want your land, they could come get it. And they say, of course, they give you just compensation, right? Because they got to pay you for it, but they get to decide on the value of
What
that
that amount
land.
is.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm talking about overtime. That was years ago, but recently in South Carolina they did that. There was some farmland that no one could figure out how to make it fertile and grow. And of course, black folks with the greatness that they were able to make this land grow. These farmers had hundreds and hundreds of acres. Now all of a sudden, oh well, we need an expansion project, and they're cutting through the people land to go add some streets, right? You know, so it's even when we get it, like I said, they're not gonna leave us alone, right? We
She
get it, we
came with
do
that
it,
fire.
and you know, so that happens. So I always understand that with the land stuff. I know people want it, but you definitely got to have your stuff in all different kind of ways, because when they decide they finna take that, they coming to take that, and the Constitution allows them to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, I told y'all she came up. She she knew she came for some good trouble. Yes, indeed. Round two. The chaser for this round is love the product, fear the people's power. Love the product, fear the people's power. Perry, you ready for your shot?
Yes, sir.
What does corporate America move faster to monetize our people? No, I'm sorry, not what. Why does corporate America move faster to monetize our people's culture than to transfer real ownership, equity, and long-term protection?
Um, kind of put it in some simple terms. Because a mayonnaise sandwich won't sell, but a mayonnaise sandwich with some ketchup and a link will, and that's what we are. We are we are the essence of the sandwich that America tries to sell. And
Man,
you know, to us, uh, as we've all said, we were minding our own business, doing our own thing, of surviving in a system that we recognize that just did not support us, did not uh, uh, look out for our well-being. But what it has found and continues to find is that we provide the essence, uh, not just for what sells, but for what keeps America's engine moving and being progressive. I mean,
yes.
who would have imagined that? Hell, the Yang Yang twins is now selling popsicles or whatever the Yang Yang twins are selling in terms of a commercial. Who would have thought Lil Jon would be selling Hyundais now? And so now America understands it very well, that in order to move a people forward, it has to provide what we call that vibe, that rhythm. And that rhythm has come at a cost, and that cost has not been uh, reciprocal.
Mm,
I'll leave it
mm,
at that.
They certainly
mm.
don't want to give us ownership of it. They want to monetize
No.
everything we have, but they don't want to give us ownership of it, because ownership will be control.
Control, like Janet Jackson. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Control. I mean, that is the hustle, y'all. Monetizing culture uh definitely lets them profit without surrendering control. Ownership changes the room, just like we stated. Equity changes the table, just like we mentioned. Procurement changes who eats. I just definitely want y'all to know. So when corporations use our style, our sound, our pain, our language, our image, our struggle, hell, our moral credibility, but hesitate to be at the table when the conversation becomes ownership and permanent equity. Like that tells us exactly what they wanted or what they valued in the beginning. Um, Attorney Sandra, you ready for your shot?
Yeah. So, I mean, these questions were really tough. Like I was just like, God, Lee boy, they got my brain cracking today. So like, like for real, because I was thinking about like, what's the biggest hustle, man? So to me, the biggest hustle is that they have us thinking when I say they, I'm talking about like white folk, power structure, all that, have black folks thinking that they don't have the power. Right. Like to me, that is the biggest like con game out there, to the point where, I have black, I'm in spaces and that black people talk about how like, oh, we haven't done much, or like we're lazy and we don't do this and we don't do that. And I'm just like, I can't, that like when I tell you, I cannot stand that conversation, right? Like I love black people. Black people hurt me, but I still love black people. I don't care, right? Because at the end of the day, when people are saying things like, oh, like we're not motivated, we're not doing this, they're not taking into consideration what it is for that person to have just showed up in that moment, right? Like, people, they just see you here and it looks like you're not doing nothing, but they don't even know what it took for you to even just be there in that moment, right? So you can't talk about what a person, if they're lazy, they this, that, you don't know what they're going through for them to show up in that moment. So for me, it's the biggest hustle is that they got us thinking that we don't have that much power. Because if we didn't have that much power, they wouldn't work so hard to take it away. Because why are you trying to take something if I ain't got it? If I ain't got it, like, you not worried about me, right? If my vote don't matter about nothing, what you doing all of this stuff for to make me not vote? If you think like all this especially the DEI stuff, like, oh my God, like that right there. Oh, like you guys are hiring all these black folks that don't know what they doing and ain't competent. If you gotta go through all that, clearly we know what we doing, right? Because now and now what the thing that I like the most now is how they call it DEI didn't earn it, because all of these people that they have in these positions right now absolutely didn't earn it. They had to lower all the standards to get all them people their jobs, right? And then y'all out here talking about me. I'm like, listen, I don't go bragging about the degrees I have, but I trust me when I tell you, when I'm in a room, I probably got more degrees from better schools than half the people. I'm gonna say more, about 90% of the people in the room, but we don't need to talk about that. But so when they said, I'll be like, you just talking about yourself, because I know what it is that I have. So for the fact that they try to make us act like we're not important, we're not relevant, or what we do doesn't make a difference, that's the biggest hustle they got going, because we absolutely matter in so many ways. That's why they consistently try to make us act like we don't matter. Because if I don't care about you, I really don't care about you. I ain't talking to you. You don't matter to me. Like I'm not disrespectful in that place that I totally ignore people, but then I do kind of ignore them, right? Because I'm not spending no energy on you if you don't matter to me like that, right? So the fact that I'm taking up all this real estate in your brain means that I matter a lot. And we absolutely do, right? We absolutely do. So for me, it's that part of it. And when black folks get to realize that the power that they have, that's what's going to be scary. And I think that's what is scary, is that more and more people are starting to realize. So now they got to rig the game. They got to cheat the game, because people are starting to understand, like, well, I actually can make a difference in certain situations. And that's why they're truly rigging the game. But even with the game being rigged, we could still win it. You know what I mean? Because I'm in Florida. They just redid all these maps in some of the most ridiculous ways. I'm like, well, y'all did all that, but the people still live in places. You know what I'm saying? The people still live there. So they still can vote and get whoever elected, right?
Flip that table completely over, just like Dr. Campbell said last week.
Flip that table completely over. So and then with our pain, this is so I don't know if I'm gonna answer the pain question right, but I'm gonna answer it the way that I feel like I should answer it. So one of the things I think they do with our pain, particularly when we when we're dealing with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, they're killing all of these black folks, right? I think that they don't got no kind of problems paying all that money to keep the rest of us afraid, right? Because like now we're afraid of these interactions, right? Because it's like they're like, yeah, it's gonna cost us $25 million, but then we're gonna be able to keep a generation or millions of people in check because they're gonna be afraid to do anything because they're gonna be worried about losing their life, right?
Man.
So to me, like, so that pain part of it, they pimp it, they pimp it to control the rest of us. That's how I can see with the
Yeah.
pain. So yeah, because I don't, that money that they pay, I'm like, they're like, won't care, because we gonna get all the rest of them to listen, and we could just get them to do whatever, because they all gonna be living
Right.
scared. And we do live
Buck
scared, right? Because
breaking.
I got brothers, I got uncles, I got a black son I'm raising. So there are certain things I'm be like, bro, you could do all this stuff, but I'm gonna need you to always remember you black, right? And it's unfair that
Exactly.
I gotta say that to him,
Exactly.
right? I'm like, bro, I know
Exactly.
you, because they go to school with all these other people and stuff like that. I'm like,
Correct.
let them other people do what them other people do, brother. But I'm gonna need you to always remember you is black and you can't do that. And that's unfortunate, but that's just the truth. I'm like, your consequence gonna be absolutely different from what's gonna
Correct.
happen. You know what I'm saying? So the pain part of it, I think they don't mind paying certain people so they can get the rest of us to
Control the masses.
control our behavior by
Yeah.
whatever money, because it's that rate of, what is that rate of return of interest, like the
Yeah.
ROI, return on the
What you
interest, or whatever the word
yeah.
is worth it to them, right? So that's how
What
I
you say,
could.
Dustin?
Yeah.
Dustin said it. Attorney Chandra, my co-host Dustin said a while back. He say, "Y'all go ahead and start putting $1 million policies out on these young people and let them keep killing them. See how much the insurance company gonna tell the police department, hey, hey,
Y'all
hey,
need to.
hey, hey, hey,
It's
we done
true.
paid out $16 million
Yeah.
to two people,
Uh-huh.
and they just so happen to be Africa America."
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. Um, Dustin, you ready for your shot?
Yep.
How do we help people stop confusing representation with power when the money, control, and final decisions still sit elsewhere?
All right, let me get my readers together. Well, if you still need convincing, you're either blind, ignorant, or willfully stupid. And I'm okay with the first two, because if you can't see, you can't see.
Uh,
If ignorant, it's just simply not knowing. So that's all right too. But
uh-huh.
you being willfully stupid, them the ones they a plague on the land.
Mm, a whole plague on the land. And
Mhm.
sit in that seat like that again and say, that's where, I mean, like, that's where we have to mature, Dustin. A lot of us, um, don't know that representation is not automatic power, uh, or representation is access, or even symbolism. It could even be pressure, a pressure release valve, like you say, right? Um, but some of us need to know that representation is there to make us clap while the contract goes somewhere else. I just want you to know. Um, Find out who owns it, who controls it. We talked about that last week, especially how is it going to help you and your mass, the masses that you consider to be masses. How is it going to help you? Um, Because if the answer is not, if you can't find yourself in any of those answers, if you can't find your people in any of those answers, then we may be visible, but we're not in control. And it's obvious about what we're facing and or seeing, especially with us looking at these no king protests and all of these other maneuvers that individuals outside of ourselves are now ready to take the mantle of, right? And so if we're not in control, we need to stop acting like we won just because somebody let us stand near power. And if you could remember, everybody raise your hand at the table, um, especially if you are hued, you are power. That's why they're so close to you. That's why Attorney Sandra told y'all earlier in the game, they ain't gonna leave us alone. They're attracted to us like a moth to the flame. We'll burn you though. You better believe you'll get burned. Dr. Campbell, you ready for your shot?
Yeah.
Man, when what does it say about the United States that our people can keep brands hot while those same brands quietly cut back racial equity commitments, especially when the political wind decides to change?
Says black people are the fuel, not the destination.
That part, I want us to know it. Say it again.
It says that black people are the fuel, not the
Mm,
destination.
that's what they say.
You keep the brand hot, trends, slang, cool, credibility. But the moment the political wind shifts, those same brands drop their commitments like a bad habit.
Hmm,
Because these promises were never about you, they were about their image.
correct.
So what does it say? It says America loves the black contribution, but not the black claim. Loves the fire, not the one who built the fireplace. In short, you're good enough to make them rich, never good enough to make them brave.
Correct. Correct. This is betrayal dressed up as business adjustment. I just want y'all to know. The- who gonna put me up, man?
Why is our people's visibility easy for the US to market, but our people's self determination so hard for it to tolerate?
Because visibility don't require the system to surrender to nothing, let alone control. Attorney Sandra and Dustin told y'all already they don't mind paying you out. They just said that they don't mind paying a family, a black family in your community or in another state on the other side or in another time zone, $2.7 million just to keep the rest of you Negroes in fear, just to keep the rest of you migrants or immigrants in check. You huge. I could do this to anybody that look like you. It's oftentimes that I go in public with my bald head and I'm taken for a totally different race or a totally different culture or ethnicity. I don't I don't even know how that happens. But you know, self-determination for especially for us, self-determination should require us to be more in control. Visibility lets them put us on stage, right? Oh, I give you 5 minutes on my podcast or on my show, but there's still no control. Self-determination lets us own the entire building. You're not welcome to my studios. um, Visibility lets them quote us. Self-determination lets us write them the
Yeah,
terms.
that's right.
Um, Visibility lets them quote, lets them celebrate our vote. Self-determination forces them to negotiate with a disciplined political bloc. And that's what they scared of. A lot of them are, including some of us who have um, been riding a skinfolk team for a long time. Uh, that's what they are scared of. A disciplined and educated political bloc. Visibility lets them borrow our culture. Self-determination builds institutions that stop renting our culture out cheap, especially when it comes to the eradication of our histories. How many of us knew that France was still holding Haiti by the ankles, shaking out more money that they've already paid, depriving them of resources that they've already, man, self-determination demands repair. policy, land, capital. And I know, Attorney Sandra said, y'all still asking for that land? Yes, because eventually, as much as I'm saving you, you're going to have to give it to me anyway, because again, I'm going to put it in writing. I'm going to make you do the same thing that the Constitution do. Put it in writing, because protection and accountability is not outside of it. That's visibility. That's why visibility is easy to market, especially for us. It gives the appearance of progress without requiring surrender of control. Self-determination is different. Self-determination says we know who we are. We know what we built. We know what was taken. We know what we spent. And we know what we created. And we are no longer, and hear me well, we are no longer interested in being the energy source for somebody else's empire. That's what America has never tolerated well, especially when they saw communities that came from nothing build something and had wealth, and instead of eminent domain, you blew me up, you blew them from the skies. So it's either a legal route that you have to take people of color, or I'm gonna do it my way and punish nobody for the things that are atrocities that has happened to you. Not not black excellence, black independence is what I'm what I'm letting y'all know we need. Black independence. And that doesn't come for me, that doesn't come with all of the hoopla that we're currently seeing. I can't say it all on this podcast, because I want our platform host to continue to have his platform. And so, yeah. Chat question number 2, chat, this for y'all. Where do you see the United States, excuse me, where do you see the United States cashing in hardest right now? Where do you see the United States cashing in the hardest right now? Put a 1 in the chat for entertainment. Put a 2 in the chat for politics. Put a 3 in the chat for consumer brands. Put a 4 in the chat for sports. Or put a 5 in the chat for social media and digital culture. Go ahead, drop your chat. Drop your number in the chat. Let me post this in the chat. And for the roundtable, if you want to answer or respond to that, please feel free. In the meantime, here's your roundtable question. Why does the United States keep celebrating our people's influence while resisting our people's control? Attorney Chandra, you have the floor.
So while you were talking, I started thinking of Frederick Douglass, right? Because he said, power concedes nothing without demand. Right, so that's where we're at. So all this waiting, they're gonna do the right thing. No, it's not happening. If we waiting, we just gonna keep waiting, right? Because power concedes nothing without demand, right? So they will never voluntarily relinquish power, privilege, authority, or nothing like that, right? You gotta put pressure, you gotta organize, you gotta protest, you gotta struggle in order for you to get that. So just always remember that power concedes nothing without demand. Frederick Douglass said this back in 50 something or whatever, and that still remains true. Like right now, right? It still remains true right now.
Correct.
So don't wait. You can't wait. You got to protest. You got to organize. Now, there is going to be consequences and there is going to be pushback, right? So everybody needs to understand their ministry. So if your ministry is not to go out there and protest, then don't, right? Don't, but then also do no harm. And if you one of them people like, yo, I got some money for y'all, make sure y'all got some water and some snacks and some stuff out there, I'm going to send that. Go ahead and figure out what your way is what way you can contribute to it, but we going to need you to contribute somehow. We all have to do it. and I shouldn't say we all, because then we always think like we need 100% participation. Not necessarily, because I heard this number and I didn't fact check it, but I heard that with the Montgomery bus boycott, it was only 10% of the people that was participating in that boycott, and look at what it is that they did, right? So we don't need everybody, but we need a good amount of people, and we definitely don't need anybody that's going to come there and do no harm. And if you don't agree, just go and sit in your house and you talk to somebody else in the house about don't agreeing, but don't come out publicly having those conversations, because that benefits no one, right? Because then those folks can see the weakness, right? Because we're only as strong as our weakest links. So all the weak links, go sit down, go stay at home, go watch Tubi if that's what you want to do. Don't come out here making no public statements. That might not have been nice that I said that. I apologize.
What? Go watch Tubi?
I tried to stay out of trouble. I'm sorry. But if that's your jam, then go let that be your jam. Don't come out here interfering with people that's figuring out how to do this work, right? Because we need to do this work, because they're not going to give us anything. And it's okay if you benefit and you didn't. If you just stayed out the way knowing that you was going to be a hindrance, then you contributed, and we appreciate that, and we gonna thank you for it, because we don't need this to be any harder, and we definitely don't need it harder from people who we expect to be on board helping us in this fight, that's gonna go ahead and benefit from that. So my question was, I'm looking at my question again. So it was about what's the hardest truth that people may need to face about how this cycle will operate. Cycle still operates right now. It's just that, right, power concedes nothing without demand. We have way more power than we're acknowledging, and we need to acknowledge that, harness that, put that to work. And as much as we don't want to, we're gonna need to go ahead and save these people, so we can like save ourselves, and it's gonna be all right? We just gonna have to do that. So Black women, we rested for 2 years. So now we gonna need y'all back out there, show up, call your cousins. And if you got some good white friends that you think you could convince to do the right thing, go ahead and bring them along. Or just send your good white friend to go talk to their relatives that keep telling you that they're single issue voters. Like, that's the most ridiculous thing to me ever, right? I'm like, just go ahead and admit the truth that you just low-key racist and stuff. But I want them to understand, no, when they say they single issue voters, you just admit you racist. I know you don't want to. Say it to yourself and then go outside and do the right thing, okay? You ain't got to tell me, because I already know. I just need you to come to that realization and face that truth within yourself, so you can go ahead and recognize that you are also out here having a hard time paying too much for gas, can't afford groceries, insurance too high. You're being hurt too, okay? So I want you to say, yes, I understand it's the blacks, I know, but my life is messed up too. And just going out here and do the right thing. So Black women, we're going to need you to show up. Get the brothers to come along. Brothers did their part. And I need these Latinos to remember that they got a Black grandma and a Black auntie, and come on over here and vote too. And stop trying to, just because you one generation away from passing, you still got a Black grandma and a Black auntie. So I'm going to need y'all to come on over here and vote too. I'm going to need you to come on and do that, so we can go ahead and just fix this mess and we'll be all right, okay? Because if y'all think y'all can continue this trajectory for another 2 years, ain't nobody trying to do that.
Ain't gonna have a problem. Ain't nobody got no time for that.
Ain't nobody got no time for that. We ain't trying to do that. So I'm gonna need y'all to come on over. We're gonna ahead and save these people from themselves, because they're not gonna do it. So we're gonna go ahead and do it for them, so the rest of us could be all right, and start, getting life back together again.
Dr. Campbell, you had the floor.
We're at the round table number 2, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the question is, why does the U.S. keep celebrating our people's influence while resisting the people's control? And it's because influence is free entertainment. Control is real power. It costs real power. So they can celebrate your slang, style, sound without changing a single law or giving up a single dollar of ownership. But control means Black people setting budgets, owning boards, deciding who gets hired and who gets policed. That feels like a threat to the people currently holding the keys.
Right.
So they'll gladly stream your culture, bottle it up, and sell it back to you. They just won't let you run the studio.
Correct. All the lights, all the mic, all the camera,
that part,
all the script, or the teleprompter. I'm just saying. Period. You got the floor.
Mm. Um,
Oh, he
maybe it
interior
was
now.
just yeah. I'm interior. I'm stable. Maybe it was me, only me. Uh, but I can remember growing up when I did something and I knew it was wrong, and I continued to do it,
Mm.
and my mom would look at me and say, "Do it again."
Don't tell me you was
We
like
have
me and did it
we
again. You better
when
not
have
have
we
been like
told
me to do it
America?
again.
And you learned a valuable lesson when you did it again.
Correct. I did. I did. I really did.
Right. But when have we told America, do it again?
Mm.
As Attorney Sandra said, and to complete that quote from Frederick Douglass, he says, "Power concedes nothing without a demand." And then he completes it by saying, "It never has and it never will."
Never will.
And to me, to hear that is like hearing my mom say, "Do it
Do
again,"
it again.
because that was an invitation.
Amen.
It was an invitation to do it.
To get messed all the way up. Yes, indeed. And I learned that firsthand. Well, you told
Right.
me to do it again, and man,
So when
Dustin.
has that
Oh, my
lesson
bad.
been
Go ahead.
learned? Yeah, no. So my question is, when has the lesson been rendered for them to learn?
Hmm. Try me again here. Dustin, you got the floor. Man.
Well, the reason they keep celebrating us is the same reason, you know, drug kingpins always allow the people working under them to have Jordans and all this jewelry. Because it's for the simple fact, as long as you chasing that temporary happiness, you don't even realize you're a pawn on the chessboard.
Man, I promise. I promise and have no clue, no idea. No clue, no idea. What you say? I keep trying to tell y'all that baby is ugly. Man. Oh man. I feel like I feel like because influence can be monetized without without being surrendered to, I guess if you will. Control cannot. Um America can monetize black influence. It can sell it, package it, stream it, campaign on it, put it on a jersey, put it in commercials, movie trailers, college brochures, ballot flyers, corporate websites. They use us on in and every way they possibly can, including social media campaigns. But black control requires transfer. If 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 we gonna be real about it, transfer of land, capital, decision making, authority, protection, institutional power, and that is where America starts acting like it does not understand the words that are coming out of our mouth. That is why this country celebrates our influence, but resists our control. They 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 know that our influence makes them money. They know that. I didn't say our influence makes us money. I said they know that our influence makes them money. They know that control makes them share power. So they're not gonna share no power. They don't want to share no money with you, let alone power. And then the moment you become monetized on a lot of these social platforms, the moment you say something cockside, they take all your monetizations away from you, and then you stuck. And they have always wanted the to be the first one without the second. I just want you to know, if they can control it, they not gonna give you a piece of it. Um, I'm looking at an hour and 39 minutes. I don't think we're gonna be able to get to our third round of shots. But what I do want is for us to give us something that will be lasting for the rest of the week. Give us, some encouragement, some information, some anything, some insight that will take us through the rest of the week. Attorney Chandra, I'm gonna start with you. Dr. Campbell, you can follow Perry, Dustin, then I'll close this out.
Yeah, no, I just think, just harness our power. Some places already had primary elections. In Florida, we have them on August the 18th. Because I have a friend that's running in North Carolina and they did theirs back in March. But in Florida, it's August 18th. I want everybody to, get out, vote, make sure you're registered in time. We have this thing where we have to keep doing our vote by mail ballots every year because, Republicans got to rig the game to win. So just make sure you check your voter registration status, do your vote by mail, and make sure you show up. Because if we show up, we win every time. If we show up, we win every time. So, because everyone thinks that 45 turned 47 won, but the couch won, in 24. So we need to get off the couch and, make the changes that we need to see in this country.
Absolutely. Dr. Campbell.
Okay, so my thought for the week is you don't have to destroy the machine. Just stop feeding it your best parts for free. Simple. We learned tonight that the truth from this whole conversation is the Black labor, Black culture, and the loyalty. None of it returns its power unless you redirect it first. So stop giving it your best parts for free.
Man, prime cuts at bottom prices. Oh man, Perry, you got the floor.
Uh, my thought for the week is narratives drive manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we believe the narrative, the manipulation becomes almost automatic. We've seen that in our elections. And I would dare say that while we are concentrating, as we should, on the Supreme Court's final blow to the Voting Rights Act, let's not forget that it will only succeed, as Attorney Sanders said and everyone else has said, is if we believe that to be our defeat. The Voting Rights Act was our access. It was our entree into the political system post Reconstruction. But it is not our death knell unless we make it. And undergirding that is, I would say, we want to pay attention to the Supreme Court. I would still say our primary focus needs to be on what happened as a result of Doge, what happens as a result of these states who are sending their voter databases to the federal government, those are the most concerned rather than a ruling. It's the
Yes.
actions that are
Right.
taking place that we need to be more
Yeah, Perry.
concerned about. And those actions lead to manipulation. And that's what we need to be concerned
Dustin, you got the floor. Golly.
I really don't, well, let me just help. The word of the day is going to help a lot of people stop saying dumb
Help us
stuff
out,
out
man.
loud.
Help us out.
Because, there's one thing I hate more than anything, the people being dumb when they could just Google. So the word of the day is deal. DEADL, as in making a deal. Because people like to, make an excuse for the president that we currently have by throwing out the president that we had, three presidents ago, which would be
Uh-huh.
President Obama. They like say, okay, President Obama gave Iran $1.7 billion. Correction. President Obama gave Iran their own money back.
Correct.
What he did is paid off a debt that the United States incurred when they decided we're going to make an arms deal with Iran. We're going to take their payment, but we never going to give them their equipment. So what he did is pay them their money plus interest on what their money would have been for them to no longer have nuclear capabilities. But here come old dummy. He going to tear that deal up, and now he is about to pay them $20 billion with a B to do half of the stuff they agreed upon in the first deal. Now I know he like to pat his chest and talk about he the best deal, he get all the best deals, he the dealer. But just like all his companies, they end up bankrupt. And y'all keep going down this game, America's gonna be the exact same way.
Keep on, America. Your dollar already don't mean a hill of beans. I'm just saying. Oh, oh, it's my turn, huh? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. I definitely, I definitely want to thank you all for just coming to the table on this evening and talking about raw and unmitigated truths, right? Family, tonight was not about hate. I just definitely want y'all to know it was about memory. It was about clarity. It was about, you know, calling the debt by its right name, especially the debt that this country has incurred against our people. This episode did not ask, did America use our people? That question is too small, and the response 9 times out of 10 is gonna be a lie. Tonight we asked, why does America still need our people this much while denying our people this deeply? And by the end of tonight, here's what I pray uh, you were able to obtain from this show, from my crew and our guest co-host on this evening, is that somebody stopped seeing black spending as just consumer behavior and started seeing it as power. I hope that somebody stopped seeing black culture as just entertainment and started seeing it as infrastructure. I hope that somebody stopped seeing black voting as just random participation, right? And started seeing it
It's
as leverage. Somebody stopped seeing identity as just a label and started seeing it as a legal, historical, spiritual, and political battlefield. Because I want you to know, in the international courts, Black, African American, none of those names are even known to the record. So you better, I said it before, you better find your nationality because black ain't it. And when we start approaching these courts for the atrocities against humanity, you definitely need to know where where you fit into this equation. Um, I hope that somebody stops seeing gerrymandering as a lines on a map and start seeing it as weapons aimed at Black power. I hope somebody stops seeing court decisions as distant legal news and started seeing them as tools that can be or can decide whether our people's voice survives intact, 100% intact. And somebody finally understood that visibility without control is not victory. Let me give you that one more time. Visibility without control is not victory. Here are, I guess, like a few moves you could use throughout the week that will give you some clarity, I hope. One is audit where your dollars go. We told y'all that last week. I'm telling y'all that for a reason. Don't buy or pay for your own demise. Stop buying your demise. Stop paying for your own demise. Honestly. And we definitely need to know who we are funding that does not fund us back. Period. Number two, learn a piece of our family, land, or community history this week. Not, internet folklore. While we do appreciate that, that's not where we at. We want to know real names, real places, real records. And if they don't have those, if your family don't have those records, then sometimes the city library or the county libraries or the county history areas, they have that information. Go to the cemeteries, walk amongst those energies, look up deeds that belonged in your family, not just the one that you live on. Um, Find and dig through church histories, look up all the histories, especially knowing that most of our faith-based institutions date back to the 1700s. We still have legacy congregations here, y'all, that we're not even reaching out to. School histories. Find out some of the reasons why they eradicated or tore down these schools in majority minority neighborhoods. Find out. I'm telling you, the story is real. And find out why we have to at least think that Harvard, Yale, and other PWIs are so prominent that they had to get land grants in order to be built there. And who built them? I'm just saying, business corridors, maps. Um, Number three, stop calling unity impossible, because it is definitely possible, but we got to do it just like Attorney Chandra said. I don't need all y'all. I just need a few of y'all, because all of us gonna eat. I just need a few of y'all. All of us gonna eat. I just need a few of y'all. I don't need the one that's looking for a limelight. I don't need the one that's looking for payment. I don't need the one that's scared of going to jail. I don't need the one that's scared of bleeding. And I daggum sure don't need the one that's more worried about what they can get from turning on us all. I damn sure don't need that one. So just find things that, like I said, we need. We need alignment. We need memory. We need discipline. We need lawful control. We need spiritual grounding. We need land strategy. Even if it takes for us to rewrite the Constitution like the Orange Orangutan is currently doing. When we need political strategy or economic strategy, and when it all boils down, we need to stop letting people rent our value while denying our authority. To my co-hosts, Dr. Campbell, to Perry, to Dustin, thank you for bringing your minds and your fire to this table. And to Attorney Chandra, man, that Haitian love, I felt it. that pride. I felt it. Thank you for bringing the legal lens into a conversation that needs more, and needs individuals to understand our position even when we don't see it. I appreciate you for being on here on the table this evening, throwing back shots that I ain't even give you. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it too. And I'm looking
Yes, thank
forward
you
to
for
having you
having
back.
me. Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
indeed.
Yeah.
To everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, listening on different podcasts or platforms, Roku, of course, we definitely welcome you to the table. And um, wherever else you could be catching us from the Roundtable Talk Show live on the Knowledge is Power podcast live, I definitely thank you for sitting with the truth. This has been episode 59, Used, Needed, Denied. Until next time, know who you are, know what they took, know what you carry, know what the law is definitely doing, know what your dollar funds, know what your vote can demand, and stop giving away what this country still needs from you. And as always, stay prayed up, stay prayed up, stay prayed up. God bless. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
That was great.